everyone, it's Laura. Welcome back to my channel. So I am super excited today because we are going to be doing a craft video, finally. I am so excited. As I'm filming now, the craft is complete. So I'm really excited to be sharing what I did and hopefully continuing the series and sharing it in the future. This is the artsy fartsy part of the channel. So I hope you're excited for it as well. I had an intro recorded before I actually started the project, but the file got corrupted somehow. I don't know exactly what happened, so I'm recording another one. So I'm actually editing the video right now. But yeah, no, I'm super excited. Today we're going to be making something with this pig that I found at the thrift store, which I'm going to put up the shot of me looking at it right now. It was about $2.50. It was a super cheap UPS branded bank. I was excited to kind of do something with that because I was like, oh, this is a great bait to execute my idea on. So I'm really excited to be doing that. So I'm glad you're here to join me. Without further ado, let's get right into the video. So before we begin, I wanted to look at the pig a little bit first. As you can see, it's from UPS, it seems like. $2.50, like I said. It's a piggy bank, but there's no like bottom to it, so I think that, yeah, the nose unscrews in order to get the money out. But we won't we won't unscrew that. We won't need to do that. First, I want to go ahead and paint this with some gesso, so that we have like a nice clean surface to work with. Before I even do that, though, I do want to clean it because I don't know if you could tell, it is pretty dirty. So I'm gonna clean that first, and then we can go ahead and start painting. Alright everyone, so as you can see here, I grabbed my brush and we are painting over this pig. I really don't want to see any of the features and things like that. I also am going to be painting this pig a different color. It's not going to hide all the features because there's still some indentations and stuff we're going to need to hide with other things. But right now we're just doing a base coat of gesso so that the paint will look nice and crisp when we paint it. And while I'm painting this right now, I'll show you a preliminary sketch of what I'm gonna make. So I've had this idea for a long time. I'm essentially calling it "Don't Wait Until Pigs Fly," like it says on the little quote right there. And this is just kind of a sentimental piece for me because I waited so long kind of to live my dreams and to be who I am as an artist and things like that. And so I really wanted to make something as like a daily reminder of myself, like, do it now, don't wait until later, because tomorrow is never guaranteed. For one, I could essentially, you know, keel over in the next 5 minutes, you know what I mean? And two, it's always good to try to start now. You're never going to be this young again. And so that's essentially what I'm doing with my art. So as you can see, there's a preliminary sketch here. We have a little cartoonish pig. It took me forever to find the perfect like piggy bank, but I thought this piggy bank worked really well. And we're gonna add wings. We're gonna add like a little curl to the head and everything like that. I do apologize, by the way, because the sketch is very sketchy. So you might not be able to see some certain details. And then essentially we want to make it like the pig is like in a cloud. So that's pretty much what we're doing there. So let's get back to the video. All right, everybody, here we are. We have our pig all painted. It really doesn't have to be perfect, but I just really wanted to cover the UPS, obviously, and some other flaws and things like that. We have this little slot here, and I was debating. I was like, should I cover this up with clay? But I feel like there's going to be like a hump of clay here. And we want our pig to fly, obviously, so we're going to have wings, but having the wings come out of here is going to be very odd to me. I kind of wanted them more on the sides right here. So we're going to leave that open, and it'll just be like kind of a glorified piggy bank, if you will. Now, the next step we're going to do, we're going to have some clay action here. And specifically what I want to do is make something to cover these little eyes right here. Because moving the eyes, I don't really want an indentation right there. Eyes a little bit lower, probably around like this area right here. And I have this air dry clay here. I don't really know if I'm like the biggest fan of it, to be honest. I just wanted something that I didn't have to put in the oven because I'm working with like mixed materials and things like that. Yeah, I wanted something air dry. But let me know in the comments if there's any, like, this is Nara air dried clay. Let me know in the comments below if there's any like type of clay that I could use that might be better for air dry, that's a little more like solid, because this is really, really sticky to me.
And maybe it's just because I don't really know how to work with it. I'm not like a clay expert or anything, but yeah, just let me know in the comments below if there's something else I could use. But essentially what I'm going to do with the clay is I'm going to make like some little like hair pieces for our little piggy girl right here. She's a girl. Go ahead and grab a nice chunk right here. And so I'm thinking of making like swirls for her head. Just keeping it really simple. I don't want to go like too crazy or anything. Just something that's enough to like kind of cover it. So got this little guy right here. Maybe I should kind of like funnel it a little bit more so it's little. Do I know what I'm doing? The answer is no, but that's okay because we can learn. It's actually not that bad. I do want it to be a little bit bigger. I essentially want like, I'm gonna make several little spirals like this, and I want like this one to be the biggest one and then have like 2 little ones right here. So we're gonna go ahead and redo that unless I make this one of the little ones. I don't know, I wanna make the big one first though. Yeah, it's a little bit more of the size I wanted. I'm ripping it off right here so we can kind of tailor it off to the side. Not too bad. I am going to kind of smooth it out in a minute. All right, let's go ahead and see if we can make some 2 smaller ones. Thinner, a lot smaller. Not like too much smaller, but like definitely smaller for sure. I don't know if I'm in love with it yet, but we are going to keep trying. Alright, so we have the curly hair part done, and I actually kind of like it. I think it's kind of cute. Definitely not initially what I was expecting, but it's definitely going to get that very feminine kind of look that I want. So yeah, now we're going to go ahead and make the wings. So let's go ahead and set this little lady to the side right here. Clay is so sticky, oh my goodness. I'm not really sure how big I want these guys to be. But yeah, I kind of want something like this. I don't know how I can get it to kind of like stick out a little bit. That might be, that might not be possible, depending on the weight and everything, but we'll see. Oh my gosh, I just realized this whole time I had this in the camera. I'm getting used to the setup, guys, so bear with me. Yeah, I kind of like that. I think that's cute. I'll have to smooth out some little bits here and there, but overall I think I like the look of that. Again, I think I'm going to have this dry before I kind of dry a little bit more before I kind of position it on the pig. You can go ahead and start the other one. Alright, so not perfectly identical. Also, I apologize, Emerson is meowing back there. It's not perfectly identical, but we're at a good place with them, I think. So I'm gonna kind of smooth them out a little bit, have them dry. I'm debating whether or not to leave them off and then paint them separately because they are going to be different colors and I want to make sure I get in all the everything. So I might want to like wait until they're dry and then paint them and then put them on. I don't know, I'm still kind of debating that, but yeah, then we're gonna move on to the next step.
Hello all, welcome back. We're on day 2 of our project and this is what we have so far. So I do like the sculpting of the hair on here and everything. It's definitely growing on me a lot. I really like the way this turned out. It covers the eyes, which is what I wanted it to do. It is a little top heavy, but I'm not going to be worrying about that until later on in the process. And even then, I don't think that's going to be that big of a deal because we're going to be gluing this onto something else. I did create the wings as well, and I'll do a separate screenshot of that. So the left, this is what happened. So the wings, I ended up just making 2. And I left the one on the wrong side. So when it ended up drying, I essentially had 2 right wings and not left ones. And so what happened was that when it dried, it ended up being like very flat on one side. So I couldn't just flip it over and use it on the other side. So I ended up making 2 left wings. And they're okay. They're not like great as like the other ones. But, you know, we live and we learn. I have 2 to choose. But we're going to set those to the side for a little bit. I'll probably be painting the wings separately from the pig. But we're going to start with the pig first and paint that, which is really fun. So let's go ahead and mix some colors. And I'm going to be changing my clothes because this is not paint appropriate. So let's go ahead and change and then we'll go ahead and get started.
All right, so naturally with this creature being a pig, I do want to make her like this like kind of light pink color. So I have some red and white paint and I'm going to be mixing that to make like a light pink. Yeah, so it's going to be classic pig color. So let's go ahead and mix that paint. I want it to be a very light pink, and I don't think we're going to need that much red to achieve that. And I'll mix it up. Yeah, that's a little bit better. I feel like there's just streaks of red that aren't like mixing in there, so it's making it look a bit darker. It also could be like the angle I have at the way I'm looking at it, you know what I mean? But I think that's good. I think that's kind of what I'm looking for essentially. So we're gonna work with that. We're gonna go with that. Use this big Chongus brush right here. Chongus. Go ahead and see what we've got here. Yeah, that's nice. I think that's pretty. Yeah, and I'm just gonna go over the whole body, the face, everything. This kind of reminds me of like, this color specifically reminds me of like that Toy Story pig, Ham. I don't know why, like I feel like it's pretty close to like his color, and it's funny because they're both Banks. I hope I made enough paint. Usually my problem is that I make too much paint and then I end up with all this excess of paint that I don't use. So I was like, oh, I just realized this snot's kind of crooked. You know what? She's gonna have a crooked snout. That's what's gonna happen. Because there's indents where her where the nose is supposed to be, and I realized I didn't really like make sure to shut it all the way, and now the hair's in the way. So nose, that's fine. Life isn't perfect, you know what I mean? So she has a little bit of a crooked nose. Alright, so we did paint our little pig friend here, and as you can see, she's a little bit lighter than when we first left her. Well, minus the tail. I do need to repaint over the tail a little bit, but you could see here that she was definitely a little bit darker last time, and I think I thought the pink was okay, but then, you know, when you paint something and it starts to dry and it gets darker, that's essentially what happens. So I feel like the color that we have here is a lot more what I want. I'm not too worried about the bottoms because, as you can see, the bottoms aren't covered, but we're going to be covering that with something else anyway, so I'm not particularly worried about that. But I didn't realize that the tail part here wasn't painted all the way, so I am going to have to make some more paint and paint that. But before we do that, I'm actually going to paint the clay parts. So I pretty much decided that this hair part right here is going to be the same color as the wings. I do have my wings right here. I picked out the two that I wanted. Like I said, like the right one isn't as good as the left one per se, but I did do some sanding and things like that. So we did get it in a good space, I believe. So I'm going to go ahead and start painting that. I already have the blue mixed here, and like with the pink, I want it to be this very like light, very close to white paint. I didn't want it to be super dark or anything. Just dark enough so you can notice there's a hint of color. So while I'm doing this, I wanted to go over what it's essentially inspired me to paint this. So I found this little pig at first, and I thought this would be something easy to paint, not really having an idea in mind of what I wanted to do. And then I was kind of thinking about like the term pigs fly, like waiting until pigs fly, you know, essentially. For those of you that haven't heard that term before, it essentially means like waiting until pigs fly, meaning, you know, pigs don't fly, so it's never going to happen, right? So waiting until it never happens, or, you know, that'll happen when pigs fly means that'll never happen. And that really came to mind when it came to like my art, because I feel like for a long time I was waiting to kind of like give myself permission to be an artist and do art, because I wasn't really like making money for it per se. Sorry, I might have not been in focus while I was talking. You know, wasn't making money with my art. I didn't really have the permission to call myself an artist, and being an artist wasn't really like something I don't believe deep down I thought it would be possible. It'd be something that I could do, until I realized, one, I already was an artist. I've always been an artist. Being an artist means you make art, and so I make art, therefore I am an artist. You know, I do, therefore I am. And I think as long as you're making art, you are an artist. If you want to like pursue a career in art and make money from it, you know, that is a different story. But essentially, the point is that I got tired of waiting until I felt like I was good enough or ready or not. Essentially, I wanted to make this like this flying pig to kind of like symbolize, hey, don't wait until pigs fly to essentially start your art, start what you want to pursue, and kind of not even sending that message to other people, but also sending it to myself. You know, like now is the time to do it. The time to do it is now. Yeah, that's essentially is my inspiration for this particular figure. I am the messiest painter, I will say. Like, I have gone through 3 of these blue boards so far. So yeah, it's a very faint blue. It looks very white too, being on this blue board right here, but there is, I'm hoping when it will dry, you'll kind of see a little more of the blue aspect of it. And I may have to change this color too. Who knows? You know what I mean? It's actually so close to white that I can't even really tell. Like, I gotta make sure I'm seeing that I'm painting the correct parts of everything. I'm gonna take this pig and start painting. I'm hoping this covers over. Yeah, it looks like it's covering over the pink very well. All right, everybody, so we are done painting these, and I did adjust the blue on these a little bit because it was too light. So I had an issue with it being too dark before, the pink, and then the blue on here was just too light. It was too close to white. This is more essentially of what I was looking for, and it may look kind of white in the picture, but it is more of a very light blue color. Same with the hair. There's still some minor details I kind of have to clean up some lines a little bit here and there, but overall we're in a pretty good spot with the blue on these. So we're gonna go ahead and put these to the side. And then now we are going to paint these 2 blocks. And essentially what we're gonna do with these 2 blocks is that they're gonna serve, one is gonna serve as a stand for the pig. So the pig is gonna go on top of here. And then the other one is gonna serve as our block and a block of text, because essentially on the front of here what I want to paint is "Don't wait until pigs fly," because essentially we're keeping with the message of not waiting until pigs fly, not waiting until forever to do something. So I do want to sand this first, because as you can kind of see, the front is kind of rough, and this side I feel like it's a little bit smoother, but again you still have some rough spots here. So I think we're gonna try to sand this as much as we possibly can. As you can see too, these are like, by the way, these are like clearance boxes that had like sayings on them. Kind of hard to like paint this section. I feel like it's turned pink because this was red before. So I'm hoping that the paint that we have essentially covers this up. I made the blue from the wings a little bit darker. So hopefully we can like kind of use that and paint the bottom of these boxes here. And that it'll cover up for the most part, but I do want to sand them down first. First part is sanding them, and then the second part is painting them with the blue. I don't think we're going to get this perfectly smoothed out, but like I feel like we're getting to a place where it's at least a little bit better. So yeah, I think this is as smooth as I can get it. I know we still have this little like groove right here, but I'm hoping with like the writing and stuff like that, that'll kind of take that off. If not, we might have to like maybe improvise and like, I don't know. We will figure it out, but I'm hoping the paint will kind of help smooth that out a little bit. This I'm not so much worried about smoothing it out or anything, because it's going to be covered for the most part. We're going to have stuff around it. The pig's going to be on top of it. So I'm really not going to focus on sanding that out. So now that we've made it here, let's go ahead and start painting.
Okay, so we are painting. My battery's running low, but we already have a couple layers on the front, and I think that's looking pretty decent. Again, the edges are kind of rough and weird, so we might do some things to decorate that. But overall, I feel like it's looking pretty good. I'm not too worried. I did paint this side blue, but I'm not too worried about it because we are going to be covering it with a bunch of other stuff. So I don't even think we're going to see it. But I'm going to go ahead and go off camera, let these things dry, and then we can come back and kind of glue some pieces together. Okay, everybody. So we have the pig with the painted hair and everything. We have the wings fully painted. So that's good to go. Like I said, I wasn't really going to paint this because it's going to be covered by something else anyway. And then we have this, and I did change the color of this part. I'm hoping to knock this out today. Okay, so we are going to glue these pieces together now, and this isn't like quite dry, but it's dry enough. A little hair right there. Get out of there. It's dry enough where we can essentially kind of glue certain pieces together. You can go ahead. Let's go ahead and do that really quick. I have my glue gun here. Everything's an experiment at this point. I've never done this before, so it's like, what is happening? So yeah, we're just kind of experimenting. So yeah, I'm going to glue some glue. That layered delightfully. Should probably put it flat because we do want it to lay flat because this is going to be the bottom. We're eyeballing it, but I think that looks pretty even, I would say. Well, there is that, and then that's the front of it. And we'll go ahead and glue this little lady on top here. All right, so let's go ahead and glue the little bottoms. Like I said, I didn't paint the bottom of this because a lot of this is going to be covered. All the stringies, all the stringies. I'm gonna go ahead and plop her down. So I do realize now I didn't put the words on there, and hopefully I'll be able to write them clearly on the front. I probably should have done that before I glued it. But like I said, this is all a learning process. We're playing everything as we go. So I do want to let that dry a little bit, but in the meantime, I'm gonna go ahead and do some little detail work on these wings. So we'll go ahead and push this way. So the hair and the wings I'm actually going to paint with some sparkly paint that I have here. So I got this on clearance like for 50 cents. I was like, you know what, why not? Let's try it. There's a bunch of like bluish pink pattern in here. We have a bluish pink pig. So let's go ahead and paint that. Hey everyone, it's voice recording Laura here. So I've been having some issues with my audio on some of my footage. My footage is kind of corrupt, so I'm not really sure what exactly is going on, so I do apologize for that. But there seems to be some issues. But anyway, so I have the wings painted here and they have the glitter on them and everything. I'm really excited about that. I also painted the hair as well. Again, the footage from that got corrupted, so I do apologize about that, but we can see that over there. I'm pushing that to the side, and then we're going to be working on the little pieces of cloud. So I made little balls out of the thrifted stuffing I got, and I essentially used a needle point to make those little balls, and they ended up turning out pretty well. So I'm going to go ahead and make a bunch more and just kind of show you the process of how I made those via camera. I do make most of them like off camera, just FYI, but there are a couple that I do make on camera, and I make a bunch of different sizes, so I could really get the clouds texture. And I essentially use this piece of like couch cushion foam to kind of essentially make the little balls stick together, and eventually with enough poking and prodding, and I did do a lot of poking and prodding because I was poking my hand a lot, it ended up working out pretty well. So what I essentially do is rip a piece, kind of roll it up into a little ball, and then just poke it and prod it a bunch of different times until it essentially kind of stuck together. And I'm surprised this worked out well. Again, this is not needle felting felt, so it doesn't really have the same effect or does it as easily as that would. It's also a lot thinner, so I had to kind of scrunch it together to avoid poking myself and also get the shape right. So, but it ended up working out, and the bigger the piece of cotton I used, the easier it was. When we get to the really small ones is where I really kind of start poking and prodding myself a lot. All right, well, here are the 3 sizes, and I think they're holding together pretty well. This is going to take a long time, so I will probably come back and show you all the little balls I made, but I'm essentially going to make them in roughly these 3 sizes, and then we'll go ahead and make our cloud. I'll be back soon. All right, guys, so you can see we have a bunch of different little balls here. I spent countless minutes and obtained many little scars on this little finger, particularly. Well, not scars, I should say scratches. It was not that dramatic. We made a bunch of different size little balls to make our cloud. Before we do that, though, however, I would like to pay some more attention to the pig over here. All right, we have an impromptu redirect here. So what we're going to do is actually be working on the don't wait until pigs fly writing portion, because it didn't glue properly to the other box. So that's what we're going to be working on right now, just to give you a transition. What I'm going to do, I'm going to use a pencil and kind of write it out first and see how it looks. Then I'm going to go ahead and take a paint marker and write the words on there. So what I'm essentially going to write is don't wait until pigs fly, because that's the whole point of the message right here. So we're going to go ahead and I think don't wait until is going to be the top, and then pigs fly is going to be the bottom. And I want to make it this kind of weird, like loopy cursive. So I am going to write this in black once I find my black. Here we go. Let me test this on the side right here. Looking good. It is water-based, so I'm hoping it will stay. All right, so that actually doesn't look too bad. And let me say right here, the whole project, I'm telling you right now, if I'm being honest about my thoughts about it right now, I'm not super in love with it. I like it, don't get me wrong, but like I'm not like in love with it. Oh my gosh, it's a home and run. But I think what's important to me right now is that I'm going through it. I really wanted to do this with thrifted items specifically, so I know this is my first time doing it. It's not going to be perfect, but it kind of symbolizes the message right here. Don't wait until pigs fly. I can't wait until I'm perfect at it. I need to just go ahead and do it now. So yeah, I think overall it doesn't look too bad. Pretty good, like better than I expected. I'm also going to take the time and do some little details on here that I think will be better to do on our little piggy friend here while we haven't glued this. So you can kind of see here it's just ripples of glue. It didn't stick. So we're gonna have to figure out how to make that better. But one of the things that I want to focus on right now is the eye. So like I said, I did want it to make a little bit lower. I'm trying to determine the exact spot. I'm thinking right under here.
or maybe even right up here might be even better. It's going to be like a very like kind of feminine closed eye. So I want something, yeah, something like that where it has a little bit thicker, and then we have some eyelashes going on. So again, and we are going to use something very tiny. Oh, I don't know if I like the spot on that now that I'm looking at it. Now comes the even trickier part, getting it to match on the other side. So we'll go ahead and flip her around because that looks good. I'm trying to see it from the front. Well, you can't really tell from the front here, I don't think, very well. I think that's looking pretty good. I don't want to say I got it on the first try, but I think I got it on the first try on that side. Yeah, why was the right so much easier than the left? Who knows, honestly, who knows? But now we're gonna go ahead and mark it with the black. So let's go ahead and do that. Well, I actually really like that. I like the left, should I say the left more than the right? Because that's technically the left side, that where I was having the smoother time figuring that out. And I do have some pencil marks to erase and things like that, but that's actually pretty good. We're doing pretty well. Next step is putting on the blush. It's going to be right under here, and painting some other parts with like a darker pink. So that's going to be like the ears right here, the inside of the ears, this little part of the nose. That part is crooked because I put that on crooked. The cheeks, obviously. I'm debating if there's any other parts I want to paint like that pink, but I don't think so. I think those are really the three main parts. All right, so I went ahead and glued this back on. We have the words on it and everything, and I used Gorilla Glue this time. Hopefully this should work as a permanent solution, but if not, I'm not sure what would. But I did spray this with a clear gloss spray, and it's all kind of coming together now, which is great. I have not put the wings on yet. I will save that for last. Before we do that, I do want to cut a piece of felt out for the bottom here, because I don't want this to be showing on the bottom. All right, and here we are. You can see the bottom has felt on it now. Looks pretty good. It is adhesive, but I did put additional glue on there so that it would stay, because the more glue the better for that. And also I do apologize for the lighting because it is kind of gray out, and I'm just in my office, not like a professional studio or anything, but yeah, now we're gonna go ahead because we have our balls here, and I felted these a few days ago, so they've stayed in pretty good shape so far, so I'm hoping that's how they will stay. And we're gonna go ahead and hot glue those to the wood and all around the pig and everything to make it look like she's in a cloud. I think I do have fabric glue for the glue gun, but I think I'm just going to use regular hot glue because that's kind of what's stuck in the glue gun right now. So I think that'll be the best bet going forward. So we'll go ahead and start with that. Realize that I'm putting a nice little generous amount of glue in there. Press that there. I may have to press and hold it now that I'm sitting here thinking about it. To press and hold that for a little bit, and I think I'm gonna have to do that in several spots. Oh yeah, I think that's gonna work just fine. Yeah, that looks like it's pretty much on there. Okay, let's go ahead and put the other pieces on there.
she is. I do like this, don't get me wrong. There is a lot of frustration with it. It is far from perfect. You know, there's some little paint marks here and things like that I think that I'll probably eventually fix. So what went well? I feel like the colors that I picked particularly went well with each other. I feel like the writing may have been better, like possibly a gold or something like that, to really kind of bring that together. The colors I feel were really good. I did like the idea of having the sparkles. It wasn't originally what I was going to do. I was just going to leave it kind of a plain color, but I did like that went well. And then the face itself looks pretty cute. The clouds didn't go as planned because I was going to have them be a little more like stylized. I thought maybe I could do a little more with the needle felting and things like that, but I really could just only do balls with this because this isn't technically like needle felting wool per se. Like, it's not made for needle felting. It's more just stuffing. Also, my sculpting skills aren't like, I'm not like a clay expert or things like that, so I'm still kind of like working with what I have. But I think it was really kind of taking this saying for this project and applying it in like the utmost way, because I didn't want to wait to do this anymore. There's a time to like perfect your skills and things like that, but ultimately you just got to be like, you know what, life's too short, I'm just going to do it. And so that's kind of what I did. I do want to make a routine out of this. I want to make more craft out of thrifted items specifically. Like I said, the piggy bank was thrifted. The 2 blocks were on discount. Everything, the fluff was thrifted, and the felt I had to buy new. But yeah, besides that, everything else was like kind of used or on clearance or something like that. And so I do really want to continue doing these craft projects. So let me know your feedback in the comments below, what you think of them. Sorry, this is Voiceover Laura again here. It keeps getting corrupt anyway. Please like and subscribe if you like this content, and I will see you next time. Take care. Bye-bye.